Welcome back to Ferocious Education. This is Ed. Today we're going to be talking about Lucid Motors, going with the ticker LCID. Now, we did cover Lucid Motors a few times before, ever since as well was CCIV. We did a good amount of coverage there. But today we're going to be talking a bit about the new news that just dropped today, earnings, as well as the presentation, and a little bit more, including institutional buyers and insiders activity. Now, Lucid Air, Lucid Motors, right after the earnings, it kind of dropped right away down to around 12.35, 12.17%. Although we see a bit of a bounce on the bottom from around $22, and currently it's $10 almost, or actually $6 above there. And so there is two pieces of news. The first one is earnings, and the second one here is the vehicle manufacturer Lucid Group gearing up for the first international plant in Saudi Arabia after signing an agreement with multiple agencies. And so this is mainly the part of how they have massive investments into Lucid Motors, and they're basically working with the Ministry of Investments of Saudi Arabia and the Saudi Industrial Development Fund and the economical city of King Abdullah Economic City, and it lays the groundwork for a full production factory in Saudi Arabia. So that is one of its first in kind. I don't believe Tesla has any plants in that country itself, or even in neighboring countries like Dubai. But currently, this might be a bit more of a PR and more of just expanding in EVs. I'm not sure what's the percentage of EV adoption in that country, but it could be more of moving from fossil fuels in that kind of region and trying to get a hold earlier on that. Now, Lucid announces the fourth quarter earnings and quarter earnings for full year, and so the customer reservations now exceed 25,000 vehicles, reflecting potential sales of more than $2.4 billion. They also have an inaugural customer deliveries of the 2022 Motor Trend Car of the Year, and the Lucid Air are underway, starting with the sold-out Dream Edition. The productions exceeds 400 vehicles as of February 28th, 2022, with 125 customer deliveries as for the year end 2021 and over 300 deliveries to date. So updating 2022 production outlook for Lucid Air to a range of around 12,000 to 14,000 vehicles for 2022. So that's a massive upscale for the amount of vehicles they can actually put out. And selected to be the Nasdaq or in the Nasdaq 100 index in December, issued $2 billion in green convertible bonds and bolstered balance sheet to over $6.2 billion on cash on hand at the year end. Currently, their market cap is around $41 billion, so you get to see it's somewhat understandable with having these much cash on hand, but it is still being as overvalued as, for instance, Tesla in terms of fundamentals, because there's a massive outlook ahead of time, and a lot of people are pricing in the next 5-10 years rather than just the next quarter, next year. They also here have a 2.85 million square feet or foot expansion of Casa Grande, Arizona manufacturing facility on track, and announced plans for the new manufacturing facility in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia that we just mentioned here on another separate PR. Now, the presentation here, a lot of what you have typically, for instance, Lucid mission is to inspire the adoption of sustainable energy by creating advanced technologies and the most captivating luxury EV. So that is kind of the same repetitive information that we've seen. They have other accomplishments that I just read on the different PR that was put aside. Now, currently, the cash on hand is around $6.2 billion, with potential sales being $2.4 billion. Again, we're talking about a market cap of around 41.62. So fundamentally, it is as overvalued as, for instance, Tesla or other EV companies in general. So now, we're seeing other details, of course, such as them basically showing PR information, again, an expansion a little bit about the Arizona manufacturing facility and the expansions in different phases. So that is also a discussion in different studios and showrooms that basically shows Lucid vehicles, Lucid Air, for instance. And then you're going on to talk a little bit about total assets, for instance. You have jumped from around 1.4 billion to around 7.8 billion. So that is all nice. But if you're taking a look into statement of operations, as they're expanding and really ramping up production, you're expecting to see a lot of an increase of expenditure. Currently 2.6 billion compared to 719.4 million in net loss. So I had a little bit of a phase out there. Now, anyway, free cash flow is currently remaining around 50% worse, 44% to be particular. Between 2020 and 2021, you're seeing around 1 billion to around 1.479 billion. They also have a bit of images here and there, all looks nice and whatnot, but moving on from there. Now, we have a PR coming out 5:30, and it will be available, I believe, on viewing until, I believe, 24 hours later. So I'm pretty sure someone out there is recording it and you can watch it, but fundamentally speaking, there are some issues with the fundamentals of this company, such as the price over sales, because the sales are not there. However, a lot of people are pricing in the sales of 2022 and 2023. This is a very kind of pivotal moment for this company. Price over book is around 8.93, a little bit more, I would say more around double overvalued than the SP 500 average. But when you look, for instance, at a company like Tesla, you'll find Tesla sitting at 27.71 on price over book. But it has sales, so that's balanced, and that's a part of the recipe or the part of the equation that Lucid currently struggles with is sales, and that will come. And that's why a lot of people are trading this one at a higher regards. Now, institutional buyers. There are a bit of a mixed things, such as Laser Capital and Ersteria Capital liquidated their entire position on the 14th of February, but Churchill sponsors, basically the SPAC holder previously, have doubled their position around 85.7, but you see on the 7th of January, another institutional buyers liquidated 94% of their position. But overall, I see a very, very bullish institutional kind of move of the overall general institutional activity. And that's amazing. Insiders, you see some exercising of shares, short shares availability. There's currently around 250,000 short shares available at 8.81% in terms of loaning out. Around 60% or more than half of all shares are being traded on the short volume side. Now, before moving on towards technical analysis, if you would like to see more contents like about stocks like this one or similar, make sure to drop the subscribe button and leave notification buttons on for this channel. It helps me a lot. And don't forget to drop a like to this video if you enjoyed this video so far, and you can join our Discord in the description below if you like to do so. Now let's move on towards technical analysis. Now, from a technical analysis perspective, what we're seeing here is that the 50 SMA is above the 200 SMA, which is in fact bullish. The 10 SMA is curving faster than the 30 MA, again a bullish thing, and the price point is currently using the 10 SMA as a support, which is sitting at 2701. Now, after hours, granted, it did drop quite a bit, so it is struggling with the 10 SMA. Average directional index is sitting at 2804, suggesting a potential for a trend to start. The William % R, which is very similar to the RSI, shows that the stock is overbought, so meaning more buying activity than selling activities. Not the worst thing to see. MACD shows a bullish reversal, a very nice one, after attempted a negative reversal around the 23rd of February and basically bounced right off. Momentum is currently positive. It has been negative recently, but now it's back on the positive, showcasing that this could be a massive rebound for this stock. Stochastic fast and stochastic slow, everything here is pointing upwards, suggesting that there could be a potential move on for this move, but really depends on the people's perspective on the earnings. So for instance, if we were starting to look into, let's say, an hourly perspective, you're starting to see a little bit of a bounce downwards into the stochastic fast and stochastic slow, similar to what you see here, suggesting that there could be either stabilization or a little bit of a stutter on the net day of the prices, and there will be basically focus on where the supports and resistances are. Moving averages expects this one to trade between 30.17 and 24.69, and so in between there. The Fibonacci retracements showcase that there is a support at 20.97 and 9.61. Meanwhile, resistances at $28, 33.68, 39.36, 47.44, and 57.41. There are a few supports to keep in mind that could easily become resistances if the price point drops below there. 27.67, and then 25.79, and then $24, 22.39, $21, 19.26, and then down to 17.65, and then 15.69. Resistances 29.18, 33.74, 36.87, $40 and then higher to around $45.81, $48.23, and then around $55.73 to $57.70. And then when we're looking at analyst recommendations, we're not seeing much going on in terms of today, so that's yet to be updated, so we'll skip over that. Comes to the question to Ed, what do you think about this one? There's a lot of money involved into this one, and it is really following up the footsteps of Tesla. So that's why there's a lot of volatility. There's a lot of expectations coming with this one, but I think that at some point, this one will be printing a lot of money for its holders in the longer run. What do you think about this ticker? Make sure to mention down in the comments below. Share, subscribe, and like, and have a wonderful day.